Welcome back to Worldwide Exchange. The 2025 CNBC Disruptor 50 list, it's officially out, highlighting the most innovative and valuable startups from AI and healthcare to personal finance and agriculture. This year, the list sees 19 companies making their CNBC Disruptor debut, and we have the CEO of one of them right here in studio. Wemimo Abbey is the CEO of Esusu, a fintech based in New York focused on personal finance and credit growth. Also with us, we're honored to have Julia Boorstin, the creator of the Disruptor 50 list. Julia, good morning.
Good morning, Frank. Thanks so much for having me. And Wemimo, thank you so much for being here. Congrats on being named to the Disruptor 50 list for the first time. Why don't you walk us through how does your technology work? What is your different way of scoring credit?
Thanks a lot for having me. The differentiated way of scoring credit for us is really capturing rental payments data and making sure it reflects on people's credit scores. There are over 110 million Americans that rent. They send on an average $1.4 trillion to their landlords every year. When we got in this business, less than 10% of folks' data was reported into the credit bureau. So now we've democratized access to it and now work with the largest owners and operators of real estate.
So you work with these large owners and operators of real estate, but now consumers or renters can individually come work with you. How does that work? And how big do you think the market is for your services?
The market is huge. Like I said, renters send $1.4 trillion to their landlords. We work with 75% of the largest landlords in America. They combine have over $100 billion in rent volume. We wanted to democratize access because you have a long tail of people that don't live in commercial managed housing. So we created a direct-to-consumer approach where folks can pay on an average $2.50 a month to make sure this data is properly reported.
You guys have become a unicorn. Your valuation's over $1 billion. Talk to me about raising money right now in this environment, and also your thoughts about going public. Do you feel like there's demand in the public markets for a company like yours?
There's a lot of demand in the public market for companies like ours. When I go down memory lane, for example, I grew up in the slums of Lagos, Nigeria, lost my father at the age of 2. I was raised by my mother and 2 very spirited sisters. And one thing my mother fundamentally believed in was just the power of education. And that's what led me to this wonderful country. I came from 80-degree weather in Lagos to negative 22 degrees in Minnesota, which was a character-building experience. But when we came here, we didn't have a credit score. We walked into one of the biggest financial institutions to borrow money, and we turned away and had to go borrow money from a predatory lender at over 400% interest rate. My mother sold my dad's wedding ring, we borrowed money from church members, and that's how we got started. When we raised $130 million 4 years ago and was valued at $1 billion, I called my mother and I said, hey, we just raised this round of financing. And you know what my mother said? Guess what she said?
What did she say?
She said, how's the wedding planning coming along? Well, it's because of folks like Eunice, my mother, we built a company like Esusu that can democratize access to folks that need a fighting chance in this country. The average debt in America is over $106,000. There are 50 million people that don't have a credit score. We're leaving $5.3 trillion on the table. We got to do better.
It's interesting you've done these partnerships with these big real estate companies that are renting, but also with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. How much do you see those types of partnerships being essential to expanding your reach? What's going on with those partnerships?
It's quintessential. What we are trying to do at Esusu is take people from financial identity, stability, and wealth building. We want to give people that proverbial American dream. So partnerships like that actually help us actualize our goals. I'll give you a very, very important stat. We've established credit score for over 250,000 people today, and then we've unlocked over $50 billion in credit activities. $30 billion of which is credit activities. So when you think about Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, their whole purpose is to make sure everyday Americans get a home. And we are making that happen. It's not rhetoric. The record is there.
And so what's the next step for the company? You have these existing partnerships. What's going to enable you to grow?
Well, what we're focused on right now is thinking about strategic partnerships. We just partnered with a large institution to democratize our access, really thinking about the one-to-many channel.
And how much is AI essential for your competitive moat?
AI is quintessential at this point. So when we think about things like leveraging AI for our data ontology, it's been very, very important for data aggregation, especially from a privacy standpoint. We capture a lot of predictive data. We also think about customer support. We've been very, very efficient in terms of integrating AI to better serve millions of customers on our platform. And the best is still yet to come as we think about incorporating it.